Okay, so today we're going to do 3.6 and 3.7 today pretty quickly, but we're still talking proportional relationships. So we've seen these in graphs, right? We graphed them. They had to go through the origin, straight line. We saw them on charts, trying to figure out, is this proportional? We saw them in word problems. Now we're going to see them as equations. Okay? So we have here a proportion, the definition, an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equivalent. So a proportion is an equation. It's really what it is. I know we're looking at charts and graphs and word problems, but it's really an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equivalent. Equivalent meaning the same, equal. How do you solve proportions? That's the question of the day, right? How do you solve proportions? So here's an example for you. Putting in x, right? You can have a little algebra here, 7th grade. Example 1. 1/2 equals x over 4. What does x equal? Raise your hand. You can tell us. I'll let people write down and then we'll give them a chance to raise their hand. X equals. So Zach, what do you think x equals?
X equals 2.
Why do you think x equals 2? You're right. How'd you know that?
I know that 1/2 is a simplified version of 2/4.
So you're saying you knew 1/2 was a simplified version of 2/4. Because it was like a basic fraction, you knew that, right? Any other methods? Yeah?
Multiply by 2.
Multiply by 2. Okay? Multiply by 2. Anyone else kind of see it that way too? Like 2 times 2 is 4, so 1 times 2 must be 2. Do you see it that way, Anthony?
Yeah.
Anthony? Yeah. Any other methods out there? Pretty much those are the two we used. Okay, let's look at another one. X over 8 equals 3 over 4. Raise your hand when you think you know what x is. Kaylin, what do you think it is?
6.
6. How'd you do that?
3 times 2 is 6.
So you did the times thing, like Israel said. Like, so 4 times 2 is 8, so 3 times 2 must be 6. Did anybody else figure it out that way? What's another method? Yeah? Dividing, so you maybe did like 8 divided by 2 is 4, so 6 divided by
2.
something divided by 2 is 3, right? Any other methods out there? Yeah? Same?
It's not a method, but it's just like I know it.
You just kind of knew it?
Yeah.
Like the simplifying thing?
I just put it in my head.
Okay, so simple fractions we kind of know. Okay? Here's another one. Example 3. 10 over x, so I put the x on the bottom this time just to see if you guys know, equals 1 over 10. Just raise your hand when you know that one. Christian, what do you think?
Wait, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is it 1?
It's not 1. That would be the reciprocal.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Jarek?
2.
It's not 2. Austin?
100.
100. How'd you get 100? You're right.
Because if you divide 10 by 10, it equals 1. So 10 times 10 equals 100.
Good. So you did the whole times thing, or divide thing. Most people do 110 because the same as 10 over 100, right? Okay, so maybe it's a little trickier because the fractions on the or the missing numbers on the bottom this time. It might be a little trickier for us, Jared.
Wouldn't you multiply by 2 though? Because that's what I did, like 10 times 2 is
But 1 times 2 is not 10.
I'm confused.
So 1 times 10 is 10, right?
Yeah.
So to get from 1 to 10, we multiply by 10. So that means you have to multiply the bottom 10 by 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Okay, any other methods out there? Anybody at all like think of another method that might work? No? This is good? We can figure it out with a calculator? Okay, let's look at this one right here. 7 over 2 equals 13 over x. 7 over 2 equals 13 over x. This is a hard question? It is?
Not really. If I can try.
Well, maybe there's another method.
Yeah.
Maybe some people in here know this method. Does anybody know the answer yet? Because like the last time you were so fast to raise your hand, and this time you're like, what? What do you think it is, Israel?
6.
It's not 6. What do you think it is?
1.5.
1.5? What do you think it is?
45.1.
45.1? Too big. Yeah? 8? Joey?
5.
5? Austin?
4.5.
4.5.
I'm special.
No?
Talking about
Anybody else?
7.5.
Nope. Is there like a foolproof way to get it right?
Yeah, can't you? I know you multiply 2 of them and then you divide it by one of those numbers.
Whoa,
You can
whoa, whoa,
divide
whoa.
it.
What are you talking about?
I did it yesterday.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you go up there and show us?
No.
Can't?
No, I
He
did
said you multiply something and divide something.
Okay,
right?
okay, I think I knew this. I know.
Who knows how to do this? You do. Can you go up there and show them?
I think I can.
I think so.
Let's let Lindsay try it, and then Chris is really adamant that he thinks he knows. But let's. You can write right on there with the pen and see.
That's people names.
Okay. So Lindsay says she has some method that might work.
Okay, so I think you have to divide 13, or you have to do 13 divided by 7.
Close. Not quite. You want to let Chris help you?
Yeah, Chris.
You know Chris?
I don't know if I'm right, but like I think you do 13 times 7 divided by 2.
Close. Kaylin, can you help?
I don't know, but I thought that 7 over 2 equals 3.5.
Right. So, but it's really hard to get that right. It's gonna be a decimal, isn't it? Yeah.
So
So
you divide 13 by 3.5.
you're getting closer, Tabitha.
13 times 2 divided. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard someone else say that. So 13 times 2 divided by 7. Okay. So you could write that down for them. 13 times 2, and then you're gonna divide by 7.
I knew it.
Yeah. Okay. So Lindsay's gonna get the answer, and then we're gonna talk about this one.
So that would leave you with
It's
3.71428.
Okay. So just write 3.7.
That's what I got. And that's
Just write that for x equals. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what happened here, because before that, you guys had all these like really simple methods of simplifying, dividing, multiplying kind of stuff. Like you kind of got it, right? But then we got to this problem, and Austin's like, are you kidding me, right?
Yeah.
Because you saw like a decimal thing was happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what this is called,
I almost said 3 though.
what this is called, you guys, is it's called the cross product. You learned it in 6th grade, you just forgot about it. So what you do is you take these two and you multiply them, and then you divide by whatever's with the exponent. Okay, so that is that one. Okay, so we call this the cross product. Now, technically technically what you're doing when you do that is you're forming an equation because you have something equals something, right? Okay, so when you're getting a cross product, and you don't have to circle those every time, okay? I'm just showing you what I'm doing. You're taking 7 times x, so that's the 7x, and you're setting that equal to 2 times 13. So now I have 7x equals 26. Now, I believe in 6th grade you did stuff like that. 7x or 2x equals 4 and x equals 2. Remember these? You're dividing every time. That should be review. I don't think I have to reteach that, right?
No.
No.
So when you multiply by something, you have to undo the operation by dividing it. So if you divide by 7 on this side, then you have to divide by 7 on that side. Or if you divide by 7 on this side, you have to divide by 7, right? What happens when you do 7 divided by 7? What do you get? 1,
Oh.
which is what you want. You want 1x. You don't have to write the 1, but you just want to solve for 1, right? One of the variables. So when you punch that into your calculator, you get approximately 3.7. Raise your hand if you remember this from 6th grade. Okay. So that's called the cross product. So now that you know about the cross product, I want you to try this one right here. X over 4 equals 9 over 10. Using that method. See if you can get it. Anyone get it yet? You got it? Only one person? People? 3 people? What'd you get, Christian?
3.6.
3.6. Did you guys get 3.6? Yeah. Okay, so what we have is we have cross product here. So we're going to have 10 times x or 10x equals 4 times 9. So 10x equals 36. And then when you divide by 10, you get x equals 3.6. Okay with that one? Cross multiply. 10 times x equals 4 times 9. And then you divide. So each time you cross multiply and divide. Each time. You always divide by the number next to the variable. Okay? The variable could change. It could be x, y, z, a, b, c, whatever, right? You divide by that number. Yes?
What do you mean, like 10 times x? Like, how do you get that number on your ears?
So this is 10, right?
Yeah.
If we're cross multiplying, you would say 10 times x.
Okay, but how would you get an answer like with that? Because it doesn't say a value with that.
How do I get an answer?
Yeah.
So to get x by itself, we divide, right? Do you remember in elementary school when you had a problem like this, 2x equals 4, do you remember how to solve it?
Yeah, you would go 2 times 4.
Did you ever learn to divide? You didn't learn that. Okay. Who learned that you divide in elementary? So not too many of you. Okay.
Divide what?
You divide by whatever number is next to the variable. Okay. So in order to get x by itself or variable by itself, we have to undo the operation, which means we divide. It's multiplying, so now we divide. Because if you do 10 over 10, what does that make? 1, right? 1x. Do you have to write the 1 every time? No. Let's try some more. Okay. All right, so try this one right here. 2 over 34 equals 5 over x. Seja, you got it? What'd you get? 85. Israel, what'd you get?
85.
85. Anyone else get 85? Yep. So, again, it's 2 times x, right? Or 2x equals the 5 times the 34. So 2x equals 170, right guys? Then you have to divide both sides by 2. So you can cross that one off. That made a 1. And x equals 85. Did you get it that time? Some of you?
Yeah.
Put your thumb up if you got it that time, like you worked it out. Okay, let's try one more because not everybody had their thumb up. 7 over 3 equals x over 21. Okay, Lindsay, what'd you get?
I got.
Well, what'd you get?
I got 49.
No, you're right.
That's what I got.
Yeah, you're right. So what you do is you do 3 times x, so that's 3x, right? Equals 7 times the 21. So now I have 3x equals 147. Then you divide both sides by 3. Cross that one out. That makes a 1. So x equals 49.
Another one.
Raise your hand if you got 49. If you got it right. Look around you. See?
Say it my way. I found a different way.
No, don't say it yet. Let them figure it out. Okay, so you guys notice that we're pretty much doing the same thing every time? We're cross multiplying and dividing every time. So, if you already know that what you're going to do is multiply then divide, in your calculator it'd be pretty easy just to multiply your 2 bigger numbers, right? And then divide by the variable number. You guys, did you do that? Some of you did that really fast, so I'm assuming you were doing that.
Yes, can I?
So, so in a sense, we're just creating equations, right? Like, this 3x equals 147 is an equation. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you guys to do in your book is on page 59. Go to 59. Okay?